Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Force with some more Elder Scrolls Online. In today's video, I will be showing off the much requested look at first-person gameplay. I'm also going to be going similar to the video that I showed a couple of videos back where I talked about how to play this game like an Elder Scrolls game and removing the glowness, getting rid of a lot of the UI clutter, and just making it a very simplistic experience similar to what you're used to in traditional single-player Elder Scrolls games. So for this video, I am just going to show you some first-person gameplay, and we'll be going through Sheogorath's Tongue. This is one of the many dungeons that you can encounter in the game, these little torches that you'll find throughout the world, and they can vary in size. This is a relatively small one, but they can vary in size and length from an average of 10 to 15 minutes to anywhere close to an hour. Now again, this is a relatively small version of one of those dungeons, so it should only be about 10 to 15 minutes, but I thought that'd be the perfect length of time to just show you a little bit of dungeon diving and again, get that first-person gameplay perspective. So yes, just as a reminder, I've shut off a lot of the UI elements. We don't have the skill bar at the bottom, so normally when you engage in combat, this skill bar will display showing you all of your skills, and then when you weapon swap, you'll get to see those as well. I've removed that, so that won't show up when we get in combat. The only big downside to that is you don't get to see when your ultimate is charged up. So I won't know that. I'm gonna basically have to guess when it's been charged. I would imagine over time, though, you can get a pretty good feeling for how long and how many enemies you need to engage before the ultimate charges up. I think usually for me it's about 2 or 3 packs, and then I'll have these 150 ultimates. I'll be able to afford them. All right, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. Yeah, I've removed a lot of those UI elements. I got rid of the quest tracker in the upper right, and I also got rid of the glow effect. That's sort of one of the biggest complaints that I tend to see from people who aren't used to MMOs highlighting your target and are used to those single-player games where the enemies, they just are the enemies. There isn't any glow effect around them, so you won't see that here. So again, we've got my crosshair over these guys, and if I had that effect on, you'd see this little red glow around them, but that's not going to be the case here. All right, that's a group of 3, so I'm going to wait to engage them. I like to engage a smaller, okay, here's just a single person. All right, so I'm going to whip out my bow here. Again, we don't have the skill bar there at the bottom, but I know my skills. I know what's bound to what. So if you're going to want to play this way, you're going to have to know, what skills are bound to 1 through 5, and well, obviously you'll know what ultimate you have on R, but it's going to be vital if you're going to try playing this way to know what skills you have bound where. In terms of what content this is Veteran Rank 1 content. I've tailored my build a little bit to be able to have a better time at dealing with single target enemies. I basically have a great debuff right now that also enhances my attacks, debuffs the enemies' resistances, both their armor and their spell resist, and then it's also made so that it's going to increase my damage that I've done. All right, so my ultimate should be about ready, so I'm going to be able to engage that group of 3 fairly efficiently here. I've got a weapon charge up ability, so we're going to use that, increasing my damage, and then we're going to go ahead and charge on in, pop my ultimate. Oh, I guess my ultimate isn't ready yet. Let's try popping it now. There we go. The ultimate finally available. And that's really funny. I guess that, again, I guess that would be the problem. I guess that would be the problem in not having this hotbar displayed, is that you don't know when your ultimate is ready. Although I do think I saw a little bit of a glow the second my ultimate was available after I did that strike. I thought I saw a little bit of a glow, so I'm gonna keep an eye out. We're not gonna try to use my ultimate, and I'd like to see if I can figure out when it's charged, if that was in fact correct, if there was in fact a glow. The one thing I did do though, let me turn this on so that it is even further reminiscent of Elder Scrolls games, and that is going to be, we go into gameplay settings and we turn off auto loot. So this will make it so that when I look to engage loot something, we're gonna get that extra pop-up. Auto loot removes that and just puts it automatically in your bags, but again, for the sake of making it feel like an Elder Scrolls game, I think having that option off is much more reminiscent. So yeah, we're gonna go like this, and it'll say, okay, that's what we've got there, and then we hit to engage it. It is much different playing without the glow effects on. You'll notice there was that one enemy that I ended up engaging with on the stairs that I didn't know she was there prior to that. She was a pathing patrol, and without having the health bars on, without having the glow, it's a little bit harder to detect those things. And I don't know, that's neat if that's the sort of experience that you're looking for, because obviously, as you can see here, you can totally have this experience, and it feels pretty legit. It really does, and I'm a big fan of that, to be honest with you. I'm always a fan of options. I'm always a fan of letting players play the way that they want to. And if this gives another segment of players the ability to play the game a little bit differently, well then great. Something that's coming through as well is they've been making continuous efforts to have more world interactivity, specifically talking about like picking objects up off of tables. As time goes on in the beta, with every new patch that comes through, one of the patch notes is always more world interactivity, the ability to pick things up more often, and that is great. That is really, really awesome that they're doing that, because that's one of the biggest complaints that people have about this game that are used to the single-player Elder Scrolls games. It's that, well, man, I really wish you could pick everything up. I mean, that is really the biggest complaint, I would say. One of. I mean, you know, everyone's got their own opinions on how these games should be made and whatnot, but that's definitely one of them. And it's, oh gosh, that did not work at all. And I'm really happy to know and can see throughout the course of this game's development that they are working to try to fix that and try to improve that, because I think that is a good thing. All right, so let me see here. Okay, so it looks like there is no on-screen UI effect that will show when your ultimate is ready. I thought there might have been, but it appears to not be the case. So that is something, that is a suggestion for improvement. That's something that I think that they could, if they added that would go a long way to making this a much more viable way to play. I still do not prefer it, and I will never play this way with the exception of showing it off or making a video for you guys who do want to see it, but that's just personal preference. But for the people who do, there should be some sort of on-screen UI effect, maybe a slight glow, maybe like what I thought it was. I thought there was like a white glow at the bottom of the screen. Turns out that was incorrect, because obviously there isn't. That is probably just me triggering that is what I actually thought it was, but there needs to be some sort of on-screen UI element that displays to people when they've got that ready so that they can know. All right, finish that person off, fantastic. And we should be coming around to the conclusion of this dungeon. Again, as I mentioned, this is one of the much shorter dungeons that you'll find in this game. It's the more of the 10 to 15 variety as opposed to the hour variety. And I did actually have a question here as well. Whoa, got a guy right here. Let's go ahead and get a backstab sneak attack from behind. So much increased damage. Just like in Skyrim, man, attacking from behind is glorious, glorious increase in damage. I primarily, when I am engaging multiple groups, my preferred target, so this is my weakness debuff that I put on them. It marks them. It decreases the armor and spell resistances. And then also, after I've killed a target that has that, I get healed up. But the big thing, got a little sprint charge here. The big thing with it is that it also increases my damage. It's morphed to do a damage increase. Well, that was kind of funny. He was running back and forth like a big silly goose. That is pathing in effect. Although I remember that same kind of garbage happening in Skyrim as well. Enemies were just acting all sorts of weirdness. All right, here's a stolen potion barrel. So we're gonna get those for the person who asked us to retrieve them. A couple of enemies over there. I guess we could just ignore them. We do have a sky shard over here. These dungeons most typically have a boss, so there should be a boss somewhere. There it is, calls to nature. Okay, so we're gonna have a boss fight coming up. First, let's get our sky shard. We'll take out that group of 3. Is that a group of 3 or a group of 2? No, it's just a group of 2. All right, well that makes me happy, because that's gonna be easier to engage with. So we're gonna take out the, what I believe to be the ranger first. Yeah, there's one ranger. Oh no, is that other person a ranger? Yeah, that other person is a ranger. Oh well, we're gonna stay out of this arc. Okay. And then we can go ahead and charge in. We'll do our melee attacks with a heavy attack, and then we've got an execute to finish her off. There we go. All right, and now we've got the boss fight of this dungeon. Is this also a? Yeah, it's a little campfire. That's cute. Now we've got the boss fight of this dungeon. So I'm gonna go full bore here. With my 2-handed skill slot, I've got the ability to pump up my weapon damage. It lasts for, I believe, 20 seconds. And then we can mark this target. And then we're gonna go for a strike from behind. And then we're gonna be charging in, because I need to, with the casters, I need to stay within melee range so I can try to stun and interrupt. We're gonna cast our ultimate, which is gonna put a little stun. Oh my gosh, she has a friend here. I did not even realize that. Alright, well, this is fine. Oh gosh, the friend is casting spells too. Oh, this is actually... Okay, let's block that. It's heavy attack. Let's counter. There we go. Okay, since this is a melee character, I'm going to go invisible. And then we're going to go ahead and get a distance here. It's the casters that I want to be close to, the melee characters that I would like to kite around. That's essentially how my build works. And I think, do we have the ultimate? No, we don't have the ultimate available yet. Go back in and finish him off. There we go. So that was actually 2 people. I actually fought 2 people there. I thought it was just 1 boss. But again, because I don't have the health bars on, I just didn't detect that. I didn't realize there was someone standing behind her spell casting. C'est la vie. Alright, well guys, there you go. A little bit of gameplay here in first-person perspective. Also a little bit of a conversation as to how I think it is in this game. Overall, you know, I think they've done a fairly good job, especially for a feature that's been just sort of recently brought into the game, you know, within the past year or so. Although it may be something that they were working on in development in the past, but they never actually considered bringing to the game until the community cried a foul, and then it came. But it's you know, it's good. It's good. They are making strides and improvements, which is great. It's not, you know, it's not quite the same. I would not say it's quite as a good a first-person experience as you got in Skyrim, but I would say it's a close second. And I would say that they're continuing to make improvements. Literally every patch, improvements are being made to just make this game more Elder Scrollsy, which is exactly what a lot of people are asking for. Now if they can just appease those fans of the endgame content when it comes to doing stuff like raids, if they can get some more information out about that sort of content, then overall we're going to have a pretty darn great experience on our hands, if you ask me. Alright guys, that's going to do it here. Thanks so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more Elder Scrolls Online coverage coming up in the future. Probably not much more of the first-person perspective. May do this sporadically between now up until release, but most of my content, again, will be played in the 3rd. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. Thanks again, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.